So the volleyball team that I'm recording for my school had a game against another school in the same district, and they just finished it yesterday. It was a 3-2 sweep, and it was the biggest game of the season for them because they've come off of 2 losses, and this one was really going to determine if they were somewhat competitive or if they're just gonna fall off from here. I wanted to create a professional hype video, something that I kind of saw from Instagram and I kind of want to replicate it, and I'm gonna show you what I do in post so that you can learn what to do in order to make high quality videos like this. Alright, I'm not gonna show you everything. Let's get into the rest of the video. So the University of Texas football team has like this really good video with an amazing storyline that I kind of want to use for inspiration for this video that I'm going to make for volleyball. Obviously there's going to be some things I have to change because their video is more catered towards football, but just make some few adjustments and it'll go all according to plan. Obviously I don't have all the footage I want for the specific video. They have training footage, which I don't have. They have more locker room footage, which I don't really have, so I just gotta make the most with what I have right here, which is mostly gameplay and some reaction. Obviously, in order to create something with some type of story and keep it organized, I need to make a script. And that's where I'm just gonna use the voiceovers and what type of clips I want to put in order to make it organized, make the story flow, and have the visuals follow what the voiceover is trying to encapsulate. Now the reason why I really want to follow this type of editing style and using a voiceover is because when you're having a story, you're focusing more on the game and the storyline rather than the edit itself, which takes you away from the actual footage and the actual cool gameplay that's going on. And I'm going to show you what the voiceovers look like once I finish them all. Enough with all this talk, man. Down 0-2, they're counting us out again. They don't see what we got going on. We know what we gotta do. Lock in, communicate, and play together. If you're not an Eagle, you're against us. When you're chasing greatness, there's some things you can't control. You'll fall short, but everybody loves a comeback. So now I'm gonna show you guys my color grading timeline, or how I color grade my stuff. So here I already have the node tree. I've already labeled everything so that you can follow through. So the first step I usually like to do is go to the Rec 709 node. Let's go to the Rec 709 node and drag that right there. Boom, we already got the clip. We already got it color graded and everything, but we can make it look better. That's what we're here for. So for here we have the white balance. I usually like to take this little thing, drag it to something that looks white. Boom, now it looks a lot better, a lot more white balanced. So here we have the exposure, and I go to the scope to help me guide myself, and I kind of just mess with the gain, the lift, until like it looks right. I don't want to go too far down, I also don't want to go too far up. So like right around there, that looks good. That gives us room and flexibility to work for our other stuff later on. Here we just have some contrast. I just like to put 1.05 contrast, and that adds a lot more feel to it. Looks even better. And then here I have a saturation node. I usually like going around 60 to 65, depending on how well exposed your footage is. That's how much saturation you should put. If it's better exposed with better lighting and there's a lot more detail with your lower ISO, then you should increase the saturation. If not, then you should probably lower it so your footage doesn't get too distorted or too destroyed. So I think 60 is a safe bet for now. Next up, we got curves. You see these curves right here? Not the booty curves, I'm talking about these curves, bro. So we look here. I usually like to raise up the I usually like to raise up the blacks. Raise up the blacks because I want to make sure that it's not too black, you know what I'm saying? And then use edible splines and just, you know, mess around, not expose it too much, like not do too much to it, not do too little to it. Right here, just mess around until it looks decently good enough for you. Since this is kind of a little bit bright for me, I'm gonna lower down the exposure here and go to the offset and just lower that a little bit, just a small bit, and that's really it. And then the color curves, so we go, instead of here in the curves section, just go to the curves hue. What I really want to do is just make the reds a little less orange red and make it a little bit more deep red for later. So what I'm gonna do is fix that. Oh goodness, okay, fix that and move it here so we can avoid the skin tones a little bit, and then just, I don't like that, so I like to bring down the reds a little bit, because sometimes it's right here. Honestly, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just doing some commentary, bro. But not too much. That should be good enough. I also kind of want to desaturate the reds as well. Oh shoot, wait, I forgot. Let's not do that. Let's not leave without doing this to the yellow. I also like messing with the yellows and the blues. The blues, where you see the center dot right here, I'm just gonna mess with it here. I don't like the blues being more purple. I like them being more kind of cyan, so I like to have that little look over there. And then for the yellows, I like to bring it towards like the green, so go to the green a little bit, make it a little bit more neon yellow rather than orange yellow, so I bring it down here. And that's what I'll pretty much do. And then for the reds, sometimes they're oversaturated because my school is just too red sometimes, so I just decrease the saturation down by like 1 notch right here. And that's pretty much good, right? It's not oversaturated, not too bad. But now looking at it, I don't like the red how it looks anymore, so we're gonna give it more pink, like that. That looks better. Pretty simple. So here for the skin tones, this is probably like the most difficult part. Grab this, press on some skin, press, was it Alt H? No, it's Shift H, there you go, Shift H. And now you see there's a bunch of stuff that's selected. I don't like that, I hate that, I actually hate that. So we're gonna mess around, just look what I'm doing. I just mess around with the hue first, making sure you can isolate the skin tones better, but not too much to the point where you start removing the skin tones. You just want to make sure that you can isolate and get rid of a lot of that red and other useless stuff that you don't need. And then, let's see, can I get away with that? A little bit, very small amount, not too much. And I'm gonna start with the clean blacks. So I'm gonna bring them up. We're gonna take this pre-filler so we can fill up the empty spots a little bit better. Get some of that clean white to expand it a little bit and fill up some of those holes. Get some blur to make it not so harsh, but not too wide. And that's pretty much what I do. Go here, go to the scopes, look at the the vector scope, and Shift H back again. And now we're gonna look and mess with the hue and see where the skin tones are. So right around there. You want to make sure that this line that's moving, it's right at the line so that skin tones actually look more natural, because sometimes for Sonys they look more yellow than they should, so you just want to make sure that's lined up, looks good. So you can see I've put it to 51.2, and then sometimes I like to warm it up a bit too, just bring it up a bit like that. And don't make it too much. So we're gonna compare from without it and with it. That looks a lot better. The skin looks saturated properly. It doesn't look too bad. Maybe a little bit less actually. Let's compare again. Yeah, that looks more natural. The skin feels more properly colored instead of just being whitewashed, so that's a lot better. This one is for temperature changes, so if you wanted to like change the temperature, you could if you wanted to. I usually just leave this blank. This is really only for like emergency situations, if it's just not properly, it just doesn't look good at all. But I think I like it. It looks very natural. This is what it kind of looks like in real life, so I'm gonna leave it like that. This one I leave alone. If I'm copying and pasting stuff, or there's like different lightings and I need to change the exposure settings, then I use this node specifically to make that happen. But we can leave it alone for now, since we're in one setting, we're in one spot. So we have the Rec 709 node, we have the look and LUT. So this is where you get your own personal look to the video. Let me make sure I'm pretty sure everything's resetted. So I go to the log mode here because it doesn't take too much power. And what I want to do is give it a more cyan red look. So we're gonna make it look more cyan. We're gonna add some cyan onto the overall look of the frame. What? Oops. And yeah, so it looks more cyany, but now we're gonna add some red to the shadows so it looks more black instead of faded cyan. You got that. And then we're gonna add a little bit of red to the mid-tone so we can get some red popping on the skin tones and the jersey colors. We're gonna leave the highlights alone. I don't usually like messing with them, especially for these boxes. They kind of just look ugly when you mess with the highlights. Just leave it alone. And what I want to do is make these reds pop out a little bit more. That's what I really want to do. So we're gonna go back here. We're gonna go to the reds. Make sure just make the hue look a lot. Actually, I think the hue looks good. I don't want to probably mess with it just a little bit, just a little, very small amount. And then we're gonna look at this, increase that saturation, make it pop out way more. Right here, like that. That's a pretty safe amount. And then we're gonna look at the luminance and make it a deep red, deep. So we're gonna decrease that lighting a little bit and make it look sharp and clean. Throw us from this to this. Maybe not too much. Bring it down maybe like a notch right there. And without the look, it kind of just looks like that. But with the look, to me personally, that looks a little bit better. It doesn't look as bland without it, so this gives the video a little bit more of a feel. You can put your own personal LUT down. I usually don't have LUTs. I don't use them because I just don't really, I don't have LUTs to really use except for these 4 editor LUTs. But I'm still learning how to use them right now, so I don't know. I personally just prefer doing my own thing and just making my own look for what works and what the surrounding environment looks like. So I think it's best to just do that. But if you do have a LUT that will work with the certain environment that you're working with, do use it. It's gonna save you a lot of time instead of making these adjustments. And I do plan on making LUTs in the future. So next up we have the sharpness. I know there's a lot. This no tree is pretty big, I'm not gonna lie. We go here and decrease the radius to like 47 because I want to increase that sharpness, making it a little bit more clear. And here's the halations node, so we go here, halation, put some of that. That's a little bit too much halation there. So what I like to do is decrease what can be affected from the halation node. So like, I think that's good. I think that's good. Look at that. Increase the spread, decrease the saturation because I don't like it too saturated. And maybe decrease the strength a little bit too. I don't want to be too glowy, I'm not gonna lie. So we're gonna compare what it looks like. That's not too much. I think maybe I should increase that a little bit more. It's a very minor difference, but that's kind of the point. I don't want it to be like too strong to the point where it's really impacting the video, but I want to give it a little bit more of a dreamy look. And here's what the video looks like. And then if we were to look at it without Rec 709, this is what it looks like. Without any sort of color grading, this is what it looks like. Here, without the look, this is what it looks like. Kind of looks, the red just look kind of ugly. It's a pretty basic look, but when you add that, ooh man, those reds, man, they really pop out. They really do pop out, and I really like that. So that's my color grading timeline. Oh my gosh, how is that 12 minutes? Holy shit.
Yay.
Wait, hold up, I forgot to say some last things. This is so unscripted, oh my gosh. Worst video. By the way, this note tree right here, I kind of inspired off of somebody from online. It's self-education, really helpful for me. And you shouldn't directly copy one-on-one every single adjustment I make. It should be tailored towards whatever video that you're planning to make, because to be honest with you, for most cases, if you copy one-on-one what I do to this video to another video, it might look like complete garbage. It might look like ass because it just doesn't fit the environment, doesn't fit the colors that are surrounding it. So you use this as an inspiration rather than copying as one-on-one. You can copy the no tree layout, but you shouldn't copy everything that I do, every single little adjustment I make. It's an inspiration and it's something to help educate you for future videos. So there you go. Now for this game, I have a lot of footage, but I do want to reuse some of the old footage that I rendered out so that they don't take so much space compared to the raw files, and use them for the edit, which I won't be showing because my computer kind of needs all the power to edit. It's kind of crashing out with whatever the gear it has right now. I can't just use OBS and edit while doing all of that, so I need all that computer power. But I showed you like the most important stuff. You could use your imagination to see how I actually edited the entire video, and you can check out the final video on my website or on my Instagram. They're both in the description down below. And here's what the final video looks like if it doesn't get blocked by YouTube because of some stupid copyright stuff. Bye.
We gotta take this game, okay? We gotta take this game today. It's a really, really important game today. All right, we gotta win it.
Down 0-2, they're counting us out again.
We gotta keep all the energy throughout the set. Back row, we gotta pick it up, okay?
They don't see what we got going on.
We're home, all right? There's no excuses. We're locked in. You guys had a great warm-up. You guys look great.
We know what we gotta do. Lock in, communicate, and play together.
Yo, we got a 3-0 today. Let's go hard.
If you're not an Eagle, you're against us. When you're chasing greatness, there's some things you can't control. You'll fall short, but everybody loves a comeback.
Hey, 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 hey.